concept on the topic, that is force. Basically, when there is any force that is being applied, so force is always applied between two objects. That means it is between two objects. So for example, if there is a person, suppose there is a person Ram, and that person is opening a drawer. So let us first go by the definition of force. Basically, when one object is interacting with another object and there is a push or a pull between these two objects, so we say that there is an application of force. So you always have to write this definition. The word push and pull must come in your definition. So we can say that whenever there is a pull or a push of one object interacting with some other object, that is, there is application of force. Like for example, if a person is opening a drawer, so there are two objects, that is the person and the drawer. So if it is pulling the drawer towards itself, he is applying a force. For example, during cycling. So during cycling, the person who is cycling pushes or applies the force on the pedals. Now when he is pushing the pedals, he is applying force, and because of that force the cycle moves forward. So in all these cases we are applying a force. Like for example, if I am opening or closing a door, so there are two objects, that is the person who is I and the door. So whenever there is an application of force, there must be two objects which are interacting towards each other. Now let us take two scenarios. First is the state of rest. Rest means that the object is not moving, that is stationary. So the state of rest means that the object is stationary, it is at rest. For example, if a ball is lying on the table, so that ball is not moving. So we can say that the ball is in the state of rest. Or if the fan is switched off, it is not moving. Similarly, the fan is in the state of rest. The next is the state of motion. Whenever an object is moving, either in any form, maybe in straight line, in curvy linear path, or in any direction, we see that the object is in a state of motion. Like for example, if an object or if a car is moving along a straight line, it is in the state of motion. Or if the fan is rotating or revolving, whichever you say, it is also in the state of motion. So whenever we apply force, either we can stop a moving object, it can come to rest, or we can try to move the object which is at rest. So in either of the cases, we are applying a force. Whenever you are applying a force, you always apply with some magnitude. So you always apply a magnitude. Like if the person is opening a drawer, so he is applying a force. That amount of force is known as a magnitude. And when he is pulling the drawer towards itself, he is giving direction to that drawer. So whenever there are two quantities, that is magnitude as well as direction, to any physical quantity, that quantity is come under the category of vector quantity. Like for example, force. In application of force on opening a drawer, we are applying the magnitude. For example, you must know first what is the unit of force. Unit of force is always in newtons. So for example, if the person is opening a drawer, he may be applying 5 units, or we can say 5 Newton of force. But he is also mentioning the direction. That means he is pulling the drawer towards himself. So when both the quantities, that is magnitude and direction, are used, we see that that object, that is the force, is in the vector quantity. So this was everything about the concept of force. We have discussed how the force is applied. Then we have discussed 3 examples, that is opening a drawer, closing a door even, or we can say cycling. Whenever we are cycling, we are pushing the pedals, and when we are pushing the pedals, we are applying force on those pedals. And when we apply the force on those pedals, the cycle moves forward. And then we have discussed the state of rest and state of motion. Now we have discussed what are the units of force, that is newtons, and then the quantities, that is vector quantity. So any quantity which involves both magnitude as well as direction is considered to be a vector quantity. So this was all about the concept of force.